It's now our second opportunity to reconnect with one of our cover subjects, Lisa Ponte. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Tom.
Thank you for welcoming me to your home, and thank you for being on our July cover, because I think it was a very powerful issue that jumped right into everything that you've experienced, how you've passed on what you've learned to your family and now to the community. And that wasn't necessarily an easy decision for you to make. So walk me through what you were thinking about as we talked about featuring you and your story in Westwood Living.
Yeah, so I remember when you asked me to be on the cover, and the one question you said was, "Are you sure, Lisa? Are you sure you want to do this?" Because I was really putting myself out there to everyone, and it was a bit scary. I'm not going to lie, but I'm happy that I did it, and I feel like a lot of people could relate after that article came out.
No question about it, because what we focused on and what it became was an issue centering on mental health awareness. And you've focused so much of your life now with your affirmation cards, which we clearly are going to hop into. That's what you're focused on. Mm-hmm. You want people to normalize the concept of mental health awareness and talk about it. And putting yourself out there as you did, incredibly powerful. I thank you for that. But ultimately, what got you over the edge? What made you say that, it's okay, I'm going to do this?
Because I knew that it was part of my life. And I feel like sometimes, we live in this beautiful, affluent town, and we just assume that everybody has a perfect life and that everything is perfect, but it's not. And I feel like we all go through different times in our lives that are very difficult. And some people like to talk about it and some people don't. And I just felt as if I shared my story, that it would open up the conversation a little bit more for others.
Take us back to when you started the affirmation cards, because I think it was about a year ago that I sat here in your kitchen and we talked about Westwood Living launching. Mm-hmm. And part of the discussion was, I'd love for you to showcase my business. And of course, I get that from so many different business owners. I'm like, I'm sure you would, because right. I'm paying for it, right? Who wouldn't want that? But where I think we settled on was you've got a really good story to tell personally. And part of that personal story was where you've taken this business of creating affirmation cards and really changing people's lives through how they interact with them. And it's even expanded in the years since. So Take us back, give us a little timeline of where this idea came from and where it's gone, really.
So I've been pulling affirmation cards now for over 7 years. My first deck was Louise Hay, and the cards brought a lot of positivity to my life. And I felt as though during the pandemic, everybody started struggling. I started talking to different friends and parents and children, and it was not an easy time for people. And there was a lot of depression, there was a lot of anxiety. So I've always wanted to do something and really didn't know where to start. And I knew that pulling affirmation cards made me very happy in my life. And it was a huge impact. So I said, why not create a deck? So I did. And little did I know that the impact it would have on other people. And the Westwood community was amazing. So many different people purchased my cards. And then it just became this rippling effect. And more people would purchase the cards, and it got to the point where people had asked, do you have a website? And I was like, no, I don't even have a website. I don't have a business. This is kind of a hobby. And this hobby over the past, over a year has just turned into so much more. I now have a small business.
Where do the inspirational thoughts come from?
They basically come from different lessons that I've learned in my life. One of the cards is, choosing your words carefully. And that is something that my dad has always stressed with our family. Everybody just says to say what's on their mind, really, without thinking of what's coming out of your mouth and how it's going to affect the other person. So that's one of the cards that I think about often. And I think about when I go to speak, how should this come out and how do I want to word it? And I actually think about other people's feelings,
So at the core, though, you write them all. These are from your mind, and they go from your mind onto the cards.
Yes.
Original content. I love it. Yep. You've also now debuted Cards for Kids, which is something that did not exist a year ago. Mm-hmm. So what brought you down that path?
Yeah, so what happened was Alex and I started talking about, what should I do next? What should my next volume be? Then we started thinking about children. Children are the ones that need self-love. They need confidence. And so we decided, you know what, let's come out with a cute children's deck. And so we did, actually, after the magazine came out, shortly after that, we came out with our volume 2 for children ages 5 through 12. And the deck is really cute. I mean, it talks about never giving up, having resilience, body positivity, being patient, being present, being a good human, helping the environment, like every single topic that young children really need to know. And it's been great. Parents, grandparents buy the cards, and they have these little routines with the children before school that they shuffle the cards, and then the child picks a card and they focus on that message throughout the day, or it goes in a lunchbox.
You mentioned we, and you mentioned Alex. Mm-hmm. Alex is your older daughter. You have 2 daughters, Alex and Kaya. Alex is out in California in college. Was she pretty instrumental in helping you put together the children's deck?
Yes. So Alex is actually, she's a marketing major with a minor in entrepreneurship, and she's pretty amazing with graphics. And so her and I actually designed all of the graphics and the different sayings, and that's what we worked on last summer when she was home.
So a big part of what you've done now is create a little business, which is eye-opening, because I don't know if you've ever had a business before, have you?
No.
Okay. So now that you're a small business owner, what's been a couple of the lessons you've learned?
Oh, God, there's a lot. So one of them is there's a lot of rejection, right? I have to put myself out there all the time. I think it was like 12 vendor events from November to Christmas. And, you know, not everybody wants an affirmation card. Not everybody wants to buy a deck from you. And not everybody understands what it is. So sometimes there's rejection, right? But I guess the thing that I've learned with that is that there's a lot of amazing conversations that come out of this. And sometimes it's not about selling it. It's about the connection that you made with the other person. I've also had issues with printing and my boxes and trying to figure out like what's the best type of box I need to use. Oh, there's so many, Tom. There
Sorry.
Really is.
I didn't mean to take you down this path of whoa. But you've done a great job. Obviously, it's growing, and there were so many different vendor events that I was fortunate enough. I popped by one at Decorn Moore, which was great. You teamed up with Hanya, and I know that you're building that network and helping each other out. So has your friend group changed, grown, expanded? What's happened in the last 2-3 years just because you went down this path?
Yeah. So I'm meeting new people, which is really cool. Actually, speaking of which, I met somebody on Facebook yesterday that wants to meet for a cup of coffee tomorrow, a woman in Hingham that used to own a wine shop and now does gift baskets. So we were talking about maybe doing a gift basket that has positive vibe affirmation cards in it. So I meet different people. I've met Hanya, who I've done a bunch of different events with. She's amazing. And it's the thing I love about her is it's women supporting women. And we really encourage each other and showcase each other's products when we're with each other. So I'm just very thankful for that.
But this is kind of a side gig. So
yeah.
Let people know what do you do 9 to 5?
Okay. So 9 to 5, I actually... I work for a private marketing investment consulting firm in Westwood, 9 to 5. And it's challenging. And then I also teach yoga on Wednesday nights at We Breathe in Walpole. So I have to juggle everything. The good thing is that I don't have little ones anymore that need my time on the weekends, and sports. All that has really ended. So I have a ton of time that I just devote on my weekends to my small business.
Yeah, good stuff. You mentioned kids. You still have Kaya here at home. Mm-hmm. And one of the great highlights of the story that we ran in July was your hugs and the fact that you have, is it 20-second or 30-second hugs?
20-second hugs.
Tell people where that started and what that's all about.
So it's something that I learned in yoga, actually, when I got my certification over a year ago. But basically, a 20-second hug makes a huge impact in your life. And they say that when you hug someone, you really should hold them for 20 seconds, and you can actually feel your different endorphins release in your body. So it's pretty cool. You should definitely try it.
And this is something you do every day with your kids?
Yeah, I'm a big hugger. Actually, I'm actually pretty annoying. But then it's funny because sometimes she'll come up to me and she just looks at me and turns her head and goes, "Can I have a hug?" So I think it's kind of worn off on her a little bit.
That's good. So how do people learn more about you, the business, LP Vibes, right?
LP Vibes. And Steve's actually known as Mr. Vibes now.
Oh, good. Hey,
yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, Mr. Vibes. So you can come to my website at lpvibes.com. I am on Instagram at lp_vibes_. I actually have a TikTok account too.
Oh, look at you. Very 2023.
It's not that great, but we're working on it.
Do you dance? Is this a thing?
No, I talk. Actually, I don't dance. I just I talk and I do little videos, but the girls laugh at me.
It's all right. That's where the audience is. You have to go to where the audience is. Well, I appreciate a couple minutes. Thank you very much for letting us tell your story, for being brave enough to be out there on the cover, looking beautiful in your pink dress from Sassy, and letting people know your journey. And I love the fact that Alex kind of co-wrote it because she had previously written something about you for college. And it was a really good time when we were just starting out. So
yeah. Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate it.
Of course. I'm over here getting nostalgic. I'm just very grateful that you opened up your life to us and to so many others. And that's what it's all about. So for those of you listening, if there's anybody else you'd like us to chat with, always get in touch with me, Leyden at bestversionmedia.com. You can follow our journey at westwood-living.com. And as always, we appreciate you listening to the Westwood Living Podcast.